Percy Stanbury was probably one of the most prolific shots that we've ever had in England. He had a fantastic career which ran from the late 20s to the late 50s. Kind of the George Digweed of his day, but he shot virtually every discipline you can think of. A phenomenal shot in his time, and would probably be a phenomenal shot today. The Stanbury method of shooting is still used today. In fact, the CPSA method is a derivative of the Stanbury style of shooting. It's a very elegant way of shooting, it's very easy to teach to shoot, and it's an ideal way of learning to shoot. The Stanbury method is that you have the end of the gun in your line of vision, you pick the bird up with the end of the gun, you come through, out in front and pull the trigger. It's a very simple method, it's a very effective method, and it works. One of the things that made him probably one of the best shots around was not only was he a fantastic shot, he was also a fantastic gun fitter. And one of the things that becomes obvious about his gun is that although the barrels are next to each other, the gun itself is actually an over and under. He realised many, many years ago that the stock dimensions on English guns were fine for game shooting, but not necessarily good enough for clay shooting, which has to be repetitive. So what Mr. Stanbury did was he gave measurements to Webley, who built a gun for him. And this is what gave him a distinct advantage over his other competitors. It's very, very easy to shoot. Again, it shoots like an over and under. So you pick it up and you can just shoot with it. It has a high comb like an over and under. It has a raised foil cut rib which tapers. It has a selective single trigger. It has a long stock. The original measurements that Percy used came off of a live pigeon gun. So in fact, the Stanbury gun was probably one of the first of the trap guns that was made. One other interesting thing about the gun is that it has 30-inch barrels, but it has full and super full chokes. And the reason for that was that in those days, the cartridges were paper cases and natural fibre wads. So the ballistics were very poor. So to make up for this, Percy put full and super full chokes in the gun to make up for the ballistics. And these were very effective. One of his favourite tricks was to throw a cartridge up in the air and shoot the lead off of the end of a cartridge. So it was quite effective. The other thing that the gun was very useful for, in those days when he was chief instructor at West London Shooting Grounds, a lot of his wages were made up of tips, which he did very well at. But if he had a bad run, like in the summer, and got a little bit short of money, he would then pop over to Europe and do some live pigeon shooting and come back with quite a large amount of money, which kept him going for a few months. When I first met Percy, he had been retired from West London for some time, and he was starting to go blind. And when I first met him, was at the British Open, which was traditionally always at West London Shooting Grounds, towards the end of May. And Shirley and I pulled his leg a little bit, and eventually he agreed that he would shoot some of the going away stands, because with his sort of tunnel vision he couldn't see things to the side. So him and Shirley shot, I think it was about 4 or 5 stands, the going away birds at West London shooting grounds. So probably the last time he shot the gun was at West London shooting grounds with Shirley. A short while after that, I heard that he had decided to sell his gun and that it had gone into Sotheby's auction. And I did feel that we wanted his gun to stay in the family, if you like. So I bought it from the auction at Sotheby's. When I bought it, it had a proof exemption certificate with it because it was out of proof. Since then, we've had it reproved so that people can shoot it, and on rare occasions, we will let people shoot it to raise some money for charity. But generally, we like to keep it under lock and key. Financial value is something that's never come into it. It's a piece of shooting history, and whether it was worth £1 or £10,000 to me is irrelevant. I don't know what it would be worth. It would be worth what somebody was prepared to pay for it. What that would be, I don't know. I mean, we will have it at the real game fair, shall I call it, this year. So if anybody would like to see it, we'll be happy to show it to them at the game fair.